You do not need to have a leadership position for you to choose to serve. Anyone can serve.
Gibson Anduvate,
Yes.
author, Leading Young, thank you very much for joining us. Why did you write this book?
I wrote this book more out of my own experience as a young leader, and also seeing my peers facing so many different challenges, and for many of them not having people that would work with them. Sort of what I was experiencing, I thought, why don't I write some of what I think are some of the ways that I can deal with the issues that I face. And that is how this little book began. It was more out of my own experience, but then also looking around and seeing what was happening and saying, is there a tool that we can put in the hands of young leaders that can be almost like a pocket guide of what are some of the things that you can do as a young leader to help you be the leader that God made you to be.
So you say the position you held and the challenges you faced. So what do you do and what are some of the challenges?
I have been involved in working with young people for almost the last 8 to 9 years. And I work mostly with college students and young adults. And at our church, we have a ministry of young people of about 1,000 young people. And you can imagine the pressure that comes with working with that specific group of young people. And so I began seeing my own inadequacies and challenges I was facing. I began dealing with issues in my own character. I began dealing with issues in my own relationships with people. I began having issues of even vision. Where is it that I want to go? Where is it that I want to help the young people be able to get to? And out of those issues, and even working with some of my friends who fell into issues of sin, then I began telling myself, these are some things that I can do in order to become what God intends me to be. And that's more or less the place where this journey began.
What do you make of our current crop of leaders?
I think we have a lot of room for improvement for many of them. And our core problem, which is something that I talk about in the book, is about having a heart of service, having a motivation at the core of who you are, of wanting to serve the people that are around you. And for many of our leaders, that is not the place that they stand as they offer leadership to the country. And that is a place that we need more and more leaders to stand up and say, what is it that is best for our people? Because for any leader, the ultimate test is, are the people better off with you as their leader, or are they worse off?
So how do we ensure the next crop of leaders is well prepared, the mentorship to get them to that level? Yeah.
I think one is providing opportunity for them to be able to grow and to get the skills that they require in order for them to be the kind of leaders that we are calling them to be. We need to be more intentional about investing in their education, but also, more importantly, their training. And as we are investing time in their education, in their training, then we expose them at an early age to leadership position. We have a society that is so much built around the outside, how I look on the outside. And we spend so much time focusing on the outside. But yet we need to spend as much time building character. And if we're able to raise up young leaders who have strong inner character, then that becomes the foundation of how they lead. And they end up leading not out of selfishness, but out of that heart that wants to give back to society.
There's almost a book for everything, every topic under the sun, including on leadership and on youth and leadership. So what makes your book different?
This book is targeted to... in my introduction, I titled my introduction, I say another book on leadership. And I am conscious that there are so many books that have been written about leadership. But most of these books will focus on the journey or how to become a great leader. But not many of them will focus on the initial steps. When you're stepping into leadership and you're looking into the next 20, 30, 40 years as a leader, then what are some things that you need to carry with you as you go along that journey? So this book is specifically targeted to young people or other leaders that are beginning that leadership journey. People who are probably in their mid-20s, mid-30s, early 40s, who are starting off in that place of leadership. But also another thing that I talk about in the book is that leadership is not just about position. Leadership is about serving the people that are around you. And in that place, you begin to say that you don't have to wait until you have position for you to be a leader, but that where you are, you can be able to influence and serve the people that are around you. And through that, then, you become a leader.
It is said that leadership, being at the top, is very lonely. So how can one continue to lead and maintain the integrity of the office, whichever they hold, despite that loneliness we hear about?
It's lonely at the top. The higher you go, the more lonely it becomes. And one of the challenges that we face as young leaders is that we don't have people around us that we are walking on this journey with. And that's what happens for many people, is that as you're going up, you compromise on relationships. So you find yourself at the top, but then without any genuine relationships. So I talk about the priority of those relationships as you're going through your leadership journey. How to build a network of people around you that are part of your journey as a leader, who, as you're making different choices, they become a place for you to bounce back decisions you're making, ideas that you have, things that you want to do. And that journey then becomes not a lonely journey, but a journey that you're making with other people around you.
There are very many people. We've seen leaders fall from grace. And especially as you talk about young leaders, then the question of them falling from grace at a very early stage of their leadership brings concerns of how does such a person recover, get back on their feet, despite sometimes the very harsh judgment they receive from society.
First of all is to know that, yes, you're a leader, but you're not perfect. And for you as an individual to know that you can make mistakes. And that when you make mistakes, it's not about the judgment of other people. Because sometimes for some of us, the problem is that we judge ourselves so harshly. But I think for the individual to be able to say, you know what, I made a mistake, but I can rise from this mistake. This mistake will not define me. And to allow themselves then to rise up and to even in the next season of leadership to become much more effective leaders as they even work with younger leaders, helping them not to fall into that same place that they are falling into.
Gibson Anduvate, thank you very much for joining us on our book review segment, the book Leading Young. Asante sana.
We forget that the way up is down, and that when we serve others, it's only a matter of time before the natural system lifts us up.
Gibson Anduvate, thank you very much for talking to us on our book review segment, Leading Young. A wonderful book indeed, a must read for anyone aspiring to be a leader. Young leaders, old leaders, we're all wanting to be very good leaders. And this is how we wound up the show this morning. You should read that book. Stop smiling.
Okay, Sophia, you know what? You're trying to get me to the gym. Now I'm going to read. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to take...
You're going to be the example, the person I use as the model Kenyan. A reading Kenyan. One who works out and keeps fit, one who eats right. You know, you're going to be that
model
person.
Citizen.
Model citizen.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, but speaking of models, a lot of guys saying that model was very lovely. Her name is Iman Mwenge. So thank you very much, Iman, for modeling. And the House of Katungulu, some very good reviews here. And as I said earlier, you can go on Facebook. She does have a Facebook page and she has a website, Katungulu Mwandra. You just search it and you can see what else she has on there. And in fact, she does custom design. Amazing. So I'm sure Sophia and I will be rocking.
Yeah, we should go like get matching outfits and come and be like, yo.
You know what I love? The black jacket. It was one jacket, but you can wear it 3 times.
I know.
So on Monday you wear the same thing. On Tuesday you wear it, but you wear it differently. On Wednesday you wear it differently. It saves on money.
African, Kenyan thinking right there, but it's good thinking. It's good. Budget. You have to work on a budget. And our question of the day today, we're asking about how can the society rise above marginalization of minority groups. And many of you sending your feedback. We thank you. We have Gabriel here saying it's unfortunate that we still look at each other as though some are different and others are more important than others. That is something that needs to stop. It's all about changing our mentality. We have Alice. Alice says, it really is sad even watching the interview and listening to some of the experiences people with dwarfism experience. We all need to look and love each other because we are one people created by God. One more quick sentiment here. Edward tells us, great interview with the people with dwarfism, a very eloquent William Ndongo, that man is, and we sympathize with them and hope something will be done to resolve the crisis they find themselves in. And very many of you appreciating and saying what an eloquent man Ndongo is, William Ndongo, who was earlier on with our interview today on people with dwarfism. Thank you very much for your feedback. It's Wednesday. It's one more day to Friday.
One more day to Friday. And on Friday, I'm so excited. We have Newton Logo and Amelina.
Can she sing that song? Kuna watu na viatu.
Kabisa, kama utaongea Kiswahili Sofia.
Did you see me today?
You tried, but I meant to mention that. Like, she rocked Kiswahili.
But it got me off guard. I don't know why it's so difficult when you're on camera, because usually I will speak Swahili, Sheng. You know, we do this when you're not here.
Tuongea Kiswahili sasa.
Tuongea Kiswahili.
Kabisa.
Sasa si ongea Kiswahili. Lakini kuna vile ukiwa katika ile eneo ya interview,
they do something
to you. Anyway, tomorrow, remember, part of the show is on the road. It's Thursday, and we have this theme, Kenya at 50, because this year Kenya is celebrating 50 years since she attained her independence. So every Thursday we are touching on very important issues in our country and all about bringing us together as one people. So we'll be out and about. You'll be in studio alone. But last time I had breakfast for 2. Man, it was good.
No, about that.
Yeah,
you guys
discuss.
Yeah, you need to cater to us guys who are in studio. In fact, the whole crew right now is nodding.
Yes. Kings is there thinking, yes, I need my breakfast. Yes, we'll get Lydia sorted and everybody
Lakini
else.
Kwa sasa juu tunaongea Kiswahili, tutawaaga. Kwa heri.
Alright, tumewaaga. Asanteni sana kwa kuwa nasi asubuhi ya leo katika Morning Express, Asubuhi Express.
Kabisa, dada Sofia huyu nami Tamima.
Tuwatakieni siku njema.
Kabisa.
Kabisa. Bye.